Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly, as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Hello, everybody. I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly, as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. All good? All fine? That's great. Amazing, guys. Amazing. So, how was your day, guys? How was your day? Please let me know. All good? Great. That's amazing, guys. That's amazing. Okay, that's good to hear that you guys had a good and wonderful day as well. That's really amazing to hear. Yesterday, due to the lag and everything, we were not able to have the class properly. That is the reason why today I'm taking up the class from home itself. I don't think so. There should be any issues with the class today. There shouldn't be any kind of lag or something like that today. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Okay, great. Um, okay, I've opened up the live chat as well as everything else. So in the last class, I told you guys to just go over the for loop once again. The example of the for loop that I told you guys in the day one class. Have you guys done that? Please do let me know. Have you guys done that? Please do let me know. The for loop example, I told you guys to go over the that particular part of the video once again. Have you guys done that? Please do let me know. Understanding for loop is very important for us to move further. Have you guys understood that? Please do let me know. See, if you haven't watched that video and still you're writing, no, that I've not understood it. Okay, please do not do that. Okay, right? Only if you have really like once again went back after the live class, watch that particular example of the for loop. Only then tell me whether you have understood it or not. Okay, because see, we don't want anybody to waste their time. Okay, so that is the reason why I told you guys to watch it once again, and if you are not able to understand it, even then only let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue from right over there itself, guys. Okay, great. So let's go to our drawing board once again, and let me write both the codes right over here. I think so. I need a bit of air itself. Let me just switch on the fan, guys. Give me a second. Okay. Uh, PP killer. uh, Scammer है ये, no certificates will be provided. That's great. So you will not be getting certificates. Others who are coming to the classes, attending the session, listening to me properly will be getting it. Don't worry about it. Okay. uh, कितना boot camp चल रहा है भैया? I'm confused. Aditya, we are having 2 boot camps right now. Okay, do not worry about it. No issues in that. So don't worry, man. I don't even care about these type of people. Those people who will be doing everything, they will be getting the certificates. Those who don't deserve it won't be getting the certificates. So we see. For me, it's more about teaching. I've taught. I've left the class. That is more than sufficient for me. Those who are attending, those who are not attending, those who are submitting the project, those who are copying the project, that's totally up to them. Okay, I don't really want to like get into that. Okay, so let's get started. Let me first start off with creating the basic overview of both the codes. If you guys remember, the first code was extremely simple. We just had a return, RETU, R in return, and we were having return n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay. Uh, Okay, in the previous code that you discussed in the example, which statement is used to take user input? Jairam Prasad. Usually, when you're dealing with data structures, algorithms, and computer programming, especially computer programming, you don't have code that will take an input from the user. Of course, you have cin and cout that you can use to do various stuff, but right now we are only concerned with understanding the time complexity. We have not yet entered into C++ right now. Okay, we have not yet entered into coding itself. So when we'll be entering into coding, then I will be teaching you that. Like I said, I take things from the basics and slowly and steadily I build concepts to advanced level. If I tell you something advanced right now, that is we are not going to use itself, we are not coding anything right now, so that is a complete useless waste of time, because I will have to repeat the exact same thing when we start coding. So focus upon the class. You will be learning everything slowly and steadily. Okay, do not worry about it. So return n into n plus 1 divided by 2. That was the first code, if you guys remember. The second was int sum is equals to 0. Then we were having your for loop for int I is equals to 1. I is less than equal to n. I plus plus. We were having sum. Okay, so we'll just put this into brackets. Sum is equals to sum plus I. And then at the end, we were having return sum. Do you guys remember both these codes? Please do let me know, guys. Please launch your app. We are planning for that. It will take us almost 6 months to do that. But we have planned a lot for you guys, man. Like, let's wait for 6 months. Let's see how everything goes on. We'll look into it. Do you guys remember both these codes? Please do let me know. Also, guys, one more thing, that my handwriting is not that great. I hope that you are able to understand what I'm writing. I will try to make sure that I'm writing it a little bit better from the next time. Okay. Okay. So we have to negate negative n values. N is always like we are the okay. The question was calculate the sum of the first n positive integers. Okay. So how can the value of n be negative? Like, okay. Okay, great. So what we are going to do right now is that we are going to see their time complexities. If you guys remember, I told you guys that, for example, return n into n plus 1 divided by 2. What this is, okay, what is this? This is just like doing a mathematical operation. It's just multiplication, addition, and division, nothing else. The value of n is known to us. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5, or so on and so forth. So this is just like a mathematical operation. Any kind of normal mathematical operation that is there, we give it a time of 1. Okay, it will take 1 unit of time itself. Okay, it will take 1 unit of time itself. It will take constant time. Let us, instead of writing 1, let us see that it is C1. Okay, just constant time. Maybe it's like 100 seconds, maybe it's like 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 0 seconds, but it will always remain constant. It will always remain constant on that particular device. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Umair Vora, please let me know which bootcamps, because without the name of the bootcamp, how can I tell like which particular certificates you have received? Okay, Umar? Great. Okay, the next particular thing that you are able to see right over here is that int sum is equals to 0. Again, a basic mathematics itself. We are having 0 being assigned to sum. Again, it will take up one particular like or a constant time. Okay, it will again take up a constant time. Let us say that this C2. Okay, it takes C2 time, constant time itself. Okay, the next particular thing is for int I is equals to 1, I is less than equal to n, I plus plus. So this is just a for loop itself. Okay. Just a second, guys. Just 2 questions that I need to answer. One question. Okay. Instagram clone. So Umar, okay, let me just make you guys understand something. Those who are having some problems with the attendance, I hope that you guys will be able to understand. Sorry, not attendance, the certificates. See, the attendance certificates you will be able to get within a week of the bootcamp ending. Okay, we'll check the attendance and we'll give you the attendance certificate, that is via DevTown. Now the project submission certificates, that is the Google and Microsoft certificates, we give you guys 5 to 6 days to submit the project. Okay, there's a project deadline. Okay, submission date deadline that will be there. Once that deadline has been crossed, then we start checking up the projects. Then we send out the certificates. So I think so the deadline for the Instagram bootcamp was 27th midnight, that is tonight. So how can we send the certificates even before the deadline has been completed? Okay, we can only send the certificates after the deadline, only after we have checked all the projects. It usually takes us 3 to 4 days after the deadline to send out the certificates. I think so that is just an IQ based thing. You should be able to understand it. Okay. Okay. So let's continue right over here. Now, please do not disturb. Focus upon what I'm teaching. Do not ask random questions. If you're here for that, just leave the out of the class itself. Focus upon what I'm teaching, because every time you are like interrupting me, it becomes very hard to catch up on where I left. Okay. So I'm switching off the live chat for almost 5 minutes. I'll look at it after 5 minutes itself. So right over here, as you're able to see, int sum is equals to 0. Again, a normal mathematics itself. It will take C2, a constant C2 amount of time. Then you are having sum is equals to sum plus I. Again, basic arithmetic. This statement will also take C3 amount of time itself. A basic mathematics statement. Okay, nothing too complicated about it. Okay, return sum, again, like this, nothing, you are just returning something, again a constant amount of time, C4. The problem right over here is with this particular part, that is the for loop. For loop, what does for loop do? This particular for loop will run n times. Okay, it will run this particular part of the code n times. Okay, so although this line takes up just C3, okay, just a constant amount of time, C3, but that C3 is being run n times, and n here is a particular value, okay, that has been given to us. Okay, that is 3 or 5 or whatever the value is. We don't know that yet. So the total amount of time that it will take to run this for loop will be n times C3. It will be n times C3. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Abdul Nasir, that's a great idea. I will definitely take that up from the next bootcamp that we are going to have. Are you guys able to understand this part? Please do let me know. Like I said, this particular statement, the sum is equal to sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay, it takes a constant amount of time. Again, C3, because a normal mathematics itself right over here. But this particular statement will be run n times. For those who are not able to understand it, I think so you have not went back and looked at the example that I gave you guys for the for loop. If you have understood that, then you know that this particular statement, okay, this is the statement that was in the party itself. That was the party itself. This statement will go through n times. Okay, n times the loop will operate on it. Okay, n times the exact same thing will happen. So for the entire for loop, the total time that will be there would be n times C3, because each of these code is basically C3 times. Okay, each of these code is basically C3 times. Okay, C3 time it takes to run this sum is equal to sum plus I. So n times C3 would be the total amount of time that the for loop takes. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Great. So right now the total time for the entire code will be C2 plus n times C3 plus C4. That I can represent as n times C3 plus C5. Okay, where C5 is equals to, just a second, where C5 is equals to your C2 plus C4. Okay, because both of them, C2 and C4, are constants. So just like sum of constants is also constant, so I'm writing it as n times C3 plus C5. So that will be your time taken for this particular code to run. For this particular code to run, it will be just C1. Okay, for this particular code to run, it will be just C1. Now, the point is that let's try to understand this. We don't know what this C3 and C5 are. The C3 and C5 is basically dependent upon the device that you are currently using. The faster the device is, the smaller the number of C3 and C5 will be. The slower the device is, the higher the number C1 would be. Okay, are you guys able to understand that? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know. Great. So the numbers C1, C3, and C5 are dependent upon the device, dependent upon the processors, dependent upon the language that you are using. So all these different things manipulate the values of C1, C3, and C5. Let us see. Let us plot these things down. Okay, C1, C3, and C5. So we are having two time complexities right now. We are having C1 as the first time complexity. Okay, and we are having n times C, I don't remember, like I'm just randomly writing it right now, n times C3 plus C5. Okay, right over here. So these are C1. We don't know these values. Let me just tell you that this particular algorithm is right now working on a very slow device. The value of C1 is, let's say, 100. Okay, the value of C1 is 100. Okay, and the value and this particular algorithm is working on a very fast device, and the value of C3 and C5 is very small. Let us take up 1 and 2. Okay, so it is n multiplied by 1 plus 2. Okay, that is n plus 2. Okay, I've given the value of C3 as 1, C5 as 2. This is just some random values. You don't have to overthink about it. Okay, just as an example, I'm telling you guys. Okay, so the two algorithms that we are able to get is that the first algorithm takes 100 units of time, and the second algorithm takes n plus 2 units of time. Now, this is a slow computer. This is a fast computer. That's why the numbers are different. Okay, that's why the numbers are different right over here. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is we are going to plot both of these equations up. Okay, we are going to plot both of these equations up. So I don't think so it would be very difficult for you to plot either of these equations. One is like 100 and the other one is n plus 2. So if you are plotting this equation, so you are having the values of n right over here. N can only be positive. You are having time right over here, and time can only be positive. Both n and time cannot be negative in this particular example. Okay, so time is always positive. You cannot have negative time, and n is always positive. You cannot have negative n because it's a positive integers that we are considering right over here. So what we are going to do is we are going to plot both of the lines. For 100, it will be like 100 right over here, and you are having the line as of this, and then you are having n. Okay, so n plus 2 if you want to plot. So you will be having, if n is equals to 0, y is equals to 2. So it will start from here, that is at 2, and it will be equal to n itself. So it will be a straight line from here. Are you guys able to understand how I plotted these two lines? I don't think so plotting should be that difficult for you guys, because everybody has learned this in their mathematics in, like, I think so 8th or 9th standard itself. I don't think plotting should be difficult for you guys. Please do let me know. I don't think so plotting should be difficult for you guys. Please do let me know, guys. Great. So I've plotted both the lines. This is y is equals to 100, and this is your y is equals to n plus 2. That is right over here. Now the point is that both of these lines collide at this particular point of time. What will be the value of this, guys? Can somebody let me know what will be the value of n right over here? Why can't this a curve? Dipali, just by writing this question, I'm able to understand that you don't know how to plot lines. It is y is equals to n plus 2. It's a linear equation. How would it be like curved? And this is y is equals to 100. That is like a goddamn straight line parallel to the x-axis. Like, this is like basic, I think so 6th or 7th standard mathematics. Yeah, please try to improve that, man. Like, your basic knowledge is something that in computer science it will be carried forward. At least get your basics cleared. I cannot sit here teaching you 7th standard mathematics and then start with computer science. That can be the case. At least the prerequisite is that you have passed 12th standard. Okay. Okay, so right over here, as you're able to see, this value will be 98. If you don't know how to calculate it, again, like, go back and study it once again. Okay, we don't have that kind of time. So this is the point where it will intersect. Now, for every single value of n less than 98, for every single value of n less than 98, our n plus 2 performs much more better, is faster. Okay, for value of n less than 98, n plus 2 is faster. Okay, as you're able to see, n plus 2 takes less amount of time when compared to your 100. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know. For values less than 98, n plus 2 takes less time when compared to 100. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Great. But for values greater than 98, for values greater than 98, as you are able to see, 100 performs much more better than n plus 2. Okay, 100 performs much more better than n plus 2. Now, what we understand by your asymptotic analysis is that whenever such a case exists, you are having different time complexities that you are able to figure out. So 100, sorry, for example, C1 or C2n plus C3 or something like that. In that particular case, what we do is we try to figure out which particular algorithm will give us the best possible time output when we consider n to be infinity. Okay, when we consider n to be infinity. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know. कोड सिखाना भाई क्या टीपी लगा रखा है. Okay, Shubham, like I said, you have less experience when compared to me. I've not just been a student, okay, who has got into Google. I've not just been a student. Okay, I've also, like, right now we are recruiting for 36 companies including Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Samsung. I've personally taken up interviews for 15 different companies where I used to go as an interviewer and take up interviews for the student. All these things will be asked to you in your interviews. Okay, this is everything that I'm C++ and data structures and algorithms, whatever is related to that can be asked into interviews. That is what I'm teaching to you guys. These are the basics and you will have to study it. Just looking at that particular line, I could understand you haven't even started with C++ or data structures and algorithms, because it's the first thing that I teach you right over there. Okay, focus upon it. Okay, guys. Exactly. Of course, then y is equals to 100 will be convenient than n is equals to infinity. But what if I'm having something like this? I'm having n log n. This is the equation. And the second equation I'm having is n square. Which one will do better? Okay, which one will do better? Can you guys let me know? Like, for example, this was a very simple path. I said that, okay, whichever equation performs better for n is equals to infinity, that will do it. But what about n log n or n log n square or something like that? We will be a bit like confused, like we don't have any clue which one would do better or which one would perform less better. So I will give you guys a cheat sheet for this, so that at any point of time, if you guys want to like learn about it or like remember these kind of stuff, you can. Because I also understand, like for me as well, it became very difficult at a later point of time to remember all these stuff. So I also like made a small cheat sheet just to make sure that I'm able to understand everything. Okay, are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? Please let me know. Okay, so I will give you the chart for this. Please like just learn this chart. Okay, of course you can write proofs and everything and all those kind of stuff, but we don't have that kind of time to do that. Okay, this is basic maths itself. Of course, nobody is going to ask you proofs at any point of time into your interviews, but this chart is something that you will be required to remember. Okay, you need to memorize it. You don't have any other option right over there. Okay, so I will just write down. First of all, it comes to constant. Okay, constant is less than log of n. Okay, then you are having log of n. Then you are having n to the power 1 by 3, which is less than n to the power 1 by 2, which is less than n, which is less than n square, which is less than n cube, which is less than n to the power 4, which is less than 2 to the power n, which is less than n to the power n. Okay, this is the exact cheat sheet, guys. If you want, you can take up a screenshot for this, write it down in your notes or something like that. My suggestion would be just take a screenshot immediately and then later on write it down in your notes. Okay, and please remember this. Okay, please remember this. Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? Please take a screenshot of this, okay, and write it down in your notes, revise it again and again. Okay, Okay, what are you not able to understand? Somebody said, Abhay Ram, please try to make sure that whenever you're writing that I'm not able to understand, what are you not able to understand? Please do let me know so I'm able to tackle it accordingly. Please do let me know, Abhay Ram, what are you not able to understand? Okay, so can you tell this line's meaning? So basically what happens is when you are taking up the time complexity, right now we took up two time complexities if you remember. One was C and the other one was C1n plus C2 or something like this. Okay, so these were the two time complexities that you got. Now sometimes the time complexity wouldn't be that easy to understand. It will be something like log of n or n to the power 1 by 3 or 2 to the power n or n to the power n, and you will have to identify which particular algorithm is better. Okay, you will have to identify which algorithm has the better time complexity. So how would you do that? You need to understand that whether n log n is less than n to the power 3 or not. You'll have to understand that. Okay, now one more thing, guys. For example, if you are having something like c1 n to the power 3 plus c2 n to the power 2 plus c3 n to the power 1 plus c4, something like this. Okay, if you are having something like this, then please remember that we only take into consideration the highest power that is there when we are naming the time complexity. We never name the time complexity as C1 n plus C2. We'll name it as T of n. Okay, we will name it as T of n. That is, the highest power is of n. So it is a linear equation. Okay, it's a linear. The time complexity is linear itself. Okay, when we are having something like this, if this is the time complexity of the equation, then the time complexity would be just n to the power 3 because that's the highest. Why? Because we treat the entire equation as what would be the best possible outcome when the n tends to infinity. Okay, if n was infinity, then what is the best possible outcome? Of course, the highest power is the only power that we need to compare, like we need to concern ourselves about. N to the power 3 is much more greater than n to the power 2. So to the power infinity, okay, means like if you are replacing n with infinity, n to the power 3 is extremely greater than n to the power 2. So we ignore all the other terms. We only are concerned with the highest power itself. Okay, we are only concerned with the highest power itself. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know. Okay, so again, so some of the people are asking a particular question. What about n log n? Just think about it. Again, you are a mathematics student. You are entering into the field of computer science. Your mathematics should be good. Looking at this chart, okay, where do you suppose n log n should lie? Looking at this particular chart, where do you suppose n log n should lie? Just think about it. What is n log n? Let's compare. The question, early question was compare n log n and n square. Okay, first of all, n and n is gone. So what is left? Log n and n. What do we know about log n and n? Right over here. Log n is less than n. So n log n is less than n square. As simple as that. Apply brains. Apply brains. IQ. Basics. This chart will give you the answer of every single time complexity that is present. This chart will give you the time complexities, like whatever you want to compare for anything that is there. Okay. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Great. Finally. So we can move on from this particular topic in its entirety to arrays. Okay. So I've just given you a basic overview of asymptotic notation. We haven't gone a lot deep into it because it's fine. Like basics, if you are able to understand, then whenever you will be starting with C++ and data structures and algorithms, you will be able to understand most of the stuff that they are talking about. Okay. Our main job is to make sure that your basics are absolutely clear when moving further. So array data structures. Now, what is a data structure at any point of time? Sir, currently I am attending the ML Bootcamp 2, but I couldn't get access to them after the live. I want to GI go through the notes, but I couldn't get them. Where can I get them? Kanchan Singh, the notes are in the live chat of the videos. So you can just go to the live chat. I've pinned it up in the videos itself. Okay, great. So can you take up IoT bootcamp? I have no idea about IoT. I've never like done IoT. I've done big data. I've worked on data science full stack. I've done a lot of different MERN stack, mean stack, Django stack, LAMP stack, but I've never done IoTs. But yeah, maybe I've done robotics, but not IoT in general. So one question about Google Drive clone. It is compulsory to send the description to 5 college groups to get registered. Yes, Umar Vora, it is compulsory. Yes, Vanchika Mishra, it is compulsory. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Data structures. What are data structures? For that is the first question. So you have a lot of data types that are there in any and every single programming language. In C++ as well, we have seen integers, we have seen strings that are there. Okay, so there are different like data types that are there. Okay, there are different kinds of data that are there. Okay, so you need a container. Okay, you need a bucket sort of structure where you are able to group these data types together, organize this data properly, and transport it from one place to other. And that is the property, that is the use case of data structures. The official definition is almost something like data structures is a container that helps you group and organize data together. Okay, so that is the official definition of data structures, but I hope that you are able to get that. Okay, now one of the basic data structures in C++ and in many programming languages is arrays. Okay, arrays is very important and very easy as well to understand. That is the reason why we are starting with that. Okay, so let's get started right away. One of the main important points about arrays. So when we are to create an array in C++, we will be looking at various different types of array and how to create them as well. Just the basic code that I'm going to show you guys right now is ARR. Then you are having your rectangular brackets is equals to curly brackets and whatever elements that you want this particular array to contain: 15, 30, 40, 100, 250. Okay, so this is an array that contains these numbers right over here. Okay, these are the array that basically contains all these numbers right over here. Are you guys able to understand that? Please do let me know. Are you guys able to understand that? Please do let me know, guys. Again, I was giving the definition of data structures and not arrays. Okay, the definition that I told was for data structures, guys, not of arrays. Please remember that. Okay, so this is one of the examples. This is how the so what do you mean by syntax? Okay, syntax is just like when you are speaking in English or writing something in English, you have the grammar that is there. If you're making some grammatical errors, then your English isn't said to be appropriate enough. The same thing when it comes to programming, it is called as syntax. Instead of calling it as grammar, we call it as syntax. That if you're not writing the proper syntax for that particular programming language, your code wouldn't run. Okay, that is the main case because the computer won't be able to understand what you're trying to say. Okay, so that is the point that I'm trying to make you guys understand. Okay, let's start off right over here. Why do we need to learn arrays? Okay, that is the first question that we are having. First of all, its important points, its important properties is a contiguous memory location. So whenever you are creating an array, okay, so array is like a container that contains various elements inside of it. Now these elements, when it is getting stored into your memory, okay, it can be a RAM, it can be your hard disk memory or your SSD memory or somewhere, okay, it is getting stored right over there. Now, whenever it is getting stored, so in a computer at any point of time, you are having these memory locations. Okay, you are having these memory locations that are there. For example, the first memory location. This is just an example, guys. It is not lagging. Do not worry about it. I've opened it up from my end as well, so nothing is lagging. Okay. Yeah. So right over here, for example, let me create an array of this particular structure. We are having the first as 10, then 15, then 30, then 40, then 100, and then 250 right over here. Now the first particular element, okay, will be stored at the location of, let's say, X. Okay, let's say that the first particular element that is there, it is stored in the memory and the address of that particular memory is X. Okay, so we don't exactly know what this address is, but we are considering that is the reason why we are considering it to be X. Now 10 is an integer. Okay, 10 is an integer. Depending upon which system that you are having and what kind of configuration that you are having in your system, it can take up to 4 to 8 bytes. Okay, so that is a basic unit of measurement of memory. I think so that you should be familiar with this. It's like third or fourth standard computer science. Okay, like everybody has computer science at that point of time. You must have heard about bits and bytes. So 4 MB, 10 GB, TB. So all these B's are there. That is like bytes and bits that are there. Okay, so let's consider that each of these integers, each of these integers takes up y amount of space. Okay, it takes up y amount of space. We don't know how much amount it is because we don't know which computer that we are having. That is, we are generalizing it. So let us take that each of these elements that are there, 10, 15, 30, 40, all of them are integers. Each one of them takes up a y amount of space itself. Okay, y amount of space itself. That is the reason why I'm not talking about it in bytes or bits or anything, because I'm able to understand most of you don't know about it. That is the reason why I'm not even including it right now. That is the reason why I'm using X and Y. Okay, you don't know what that is. It can be 8, 4, 15. It can be bytes, bits, GBs. We don't care about it. Okay, it start at the address X. Each of these elements have a like they take up a space because they are integers. They take up a constant space, and that constant space is Y. Okay, we don't know what it is in the background. Okay, so this particular element, that is 15, will be present at X plus Y. Am I right or wrong, guys? Please let me know. This particular element, that is 15, will be present at X plus Y, guys. Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. If the first particular element is at X, each of the element is taking a particular space of Y, then the next particular element will be at X plus Y. Basic. Oh, I just threw my pen. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so the second particular element will be present at X plus Y. Okay, after that we'll be having the third element at X plus 2Y, then again at X plus 3Y, then X plus 4Y, X plus 5Y, right over here, where X is the address where the array is stored. Okay, array is stored, and Y is the size of an array element. Okay, Y is the size of an array element. As simple as that, nothing too complicated. It's not even related to computer science. Up till now we have not even written a single line of code. This is just logic. Okay, this is just logic. If I'm telling you some particular information and you just have to apply that logic after that. Okay, this is not even related to, like, we haven't even written one single line of code up till now. Okay, so please try to understand, this is just something that you guys need to understand. You don't have any option. Okay, okay, so let's move on from right over there. So this contiguous memory location, why this is allocation, why is this something that is very important? Okay, according to me, the method for attendance must be changed. That is very difficult for Android devices to see chat and video at the same time for attendance. We don't put up anything in the chat, so why do you need to look at the chat? Okay, okay, great. Sir, in Pune University, data structures is taught in C language. Does it matter which language we study it in? Yes, we have talked about it. You have to study it only in C++ or Java. If it is taught in C, you just have to study it for gaining marks in college. It won't help you in any way during your placements. Okay, so let's continue from right over there. So this contiguous memory location, whenever you create a particular array, okay, we created this array right over here. It got saved into the memory like this. As you're able to see, it is saved at contiguous memory locations. Like once one particular element is stored, then immediately after that, the next element is stored right over there. So that is contiguous memory locations. Okay, why is this important? So what happens is how your computer functions is something that you need to understand. So your data is getting stored in your normal hard disk. Okay, let's say that you are having an SSD or your hard disk or whatever you are having. Okay, SSD or your hard disk. Then you are having your RAM, okay, right over here. And then you are having your CACHE, cache memory. Okay, and then you are having your CPU right over here. So your CPU and your cache memory are connected to each other directly. Your CPU and your cache memory are connected to each other directly right over here. Your RAM is present after that. Okay, your RAM is like somewhere else and it is connected through wires and all those kind of stuff. And then you're having your SSD or HDD or SDHD, whatever hybrid that you are using, and that too is connected via wires or some plug-in device, something like that. Okay, so what happens is, let's say that you have created a particular array and that array gets saved inside either of your RAM or your SSD. Okay, wherever it is saved. Let's consider that it is saved in RAM. Okay, let's consider you have created this array immediately and we have saved it in RAM right over here. So this is where your array is saved. The exact same array that we created, saved at x plus y, x plus 2y, x plus 6y or something like that, whatever the case is. Okay. So what we want to do right now is, if we want to do any kind of operations on this array, okay, we want to like add 1 to every single element of the array, we want a particular element from the array, anything that you want to do. We will be discussing about how to use an array, what are the different operations you can do on an array, but let's consider that you already know that. Okay, you want to do something with the array itself. In your code, you have utilized this array. So now what happens is your array gets fetched. Okay, your array gets fetched from your RAM to your cache memory. Okay, your array gets fetched from your RAM to your cache memory. Your cache memory is almost like 1000 times much more faster when compared to RAM. And your RAM is like 1000 times much more faster than SSD. And SSD is 1000 times much more faster than HDD. Okay, so you are able to understand how fast cache memory is. Then the question arises, why don't we convert the SSD into cache as well? The problem with cache memory, it's very costly. This cache memory is like 1 or 2 MBs, 1 or 2 megabytes. That is the size of this cache memory. Although it's extremely fast, but it is also extremely costly as well. The same goes with RAM. Okay, a 16 gigs of RAM is equivalent to 1 TB of SSD. Okay, the cost of 16 GBs of RAM is equivalent to 1 TB of SSD itself. So that is the problem statement that is there. So these are made in such a way that, okay, SSD is less costly, so we'll have it in large quantities. RAM is much more costly than SSD, so we'll have it in a little bit less amount itself. Cache is the most costliest item, so we'll put it with CPU and we'll have it the smallest. Okay, so what happens right over here is your array, whenever you want to use that array into your code, it gets called. Okay, it gets called into the cache memory itself. Now, when this is happening, okay, because these elements, okay, are stored in the contiguous memory locations itself, because these elements of the array are stored in contiguous memory locations itself, so when an array is called to the cache memory, it also brings the elements surrounding it. It also brings the elements surrounding it as well. Okay. It is, so what about AI Bootcamp Day 7? So Vishal, in every single bootcamp, I'm informing you guys that we are not conducting it right now. It will take us 1 or 2 weeks more to conduct it because we are not getting enough time to be able to shoot the entire thing. Whenever we are able to get time, we'll have it at that point of time itself. Okay, whenever we'll be having it, we'll be letting you guys know individually. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Okay, I'm talking about a very good RAM. I'm not talking about some shitty RAM that somebody is buying. Okay, I'm talking about Corsair or something like that. That is an like 10,000 or 12,000 rupees RAM itself. Okay, so what happens is that when the array is called to the cache memory, not just the array, not just the X is called. Okay, not just the like first element of the array. What happens is cache import works in such a way that the memory locations that are there to the left and the right side of that particular address also gets imported, because the probability of them also getting utilized further down in your code increases to save up time. Because see, although cache memory is very fast, but the process of transferring these elements from the RAM to cache is very slow. The process of transferring the elements from RAM to cache is very slow. Although cache memory is fast, the process of transferring is very slow. So to ensure how to optimize this particular solution, so what they did was not just that particular element. If you are importing array at the first position, the first element of the array, if you are just bringing that to the cache memory, further down, it is a high probability that you are going to use other elements of the array as well. So what cache does it? It will bring the entire array to the cache. It will bring the entire array to the cache, so that at any point of time in the future, if you are going to use it, it is already present in the cache. It does not have to fetch it back from the RAM itself. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. So Dipesh Kumar is not at all interested in studies. I'll just you can just search about RAMs itself. The point being that SSD is the cheapest, RAM is the costly than SSD, and cache is the costliest that is there. Okay, that is the point that you need to understand when it compares to the amount of data that it can keep at a single point of time. Okay, great. So now that you have understood this, that is the reason why arrays are used a lot, because it is stored at contiguous memory locations. So it is easier and it is faster to use when compared to other data structures that exist. Okay. Okay, yes, but one doubt is that first the array gets stored in the RAM and then cache memory. Does the array is stored in SSD or HDD? Once it is brought to the cache, it stays in the cache itself. Bringing it to the cache does not mean that it has been removed from the RAM. It is still there in the RAM itself. It has just been brought to the cache to utilize. Okay, then it is like there in the RAM itself. Okay, okay, great. So let's continue from right over there. When do we have to do project? On the last day of the bootcamp. Are you guys coming to the bootcamp for the very first time? Is this your first class? Or you're asking questions that we have already discussed on the first day of the bootcamp itself? Okay, so this is also termed as cache friendliness. Okay, this entire stuff that is there, it's called as cache friendliness. That is, array is cache friendly. Okay, that is the reason why arrays are very fast when compared to other data structures that are there. Okay, the second particular thing that you need to understand is random access. The second important feature of arrays is random access. Again, we'll take up one random array that we have created. Okay, is equals to 10 comma 15 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50 comma 100 comma 250 right over here. So this is our array that we have created. I think so there is just too many elements right over here, so I'll just delete a few. Okay, we don't require 40, so we'll just like we'll keep it a bit short. We will have it as 100 and 250. Okay, so this is the array that we are creating. Okay, in the memory it will look something like this. Okay, in the memory it will look something like this: 10, 15, 30, 100, and then you are having 250 right over here. Okay, you are having x. Okay, the address is right over here. So x plus y, x plus 2y, x plus 3y, and x plus 4y. Okay, now along with these addresses, okay, these are the addresses from the memory itself, that is from the computer's memory that is there. Okay, it's a fixed thing. The second thing that we are having is called as indexes. Okay, the second thing that we are having is called as indexes. Now with the case of indexes itself, you assign. So for example, you are having a particular house. Okay, you are having a particular, let's say a society. Okay, this is the society right over here. Okay, and somebody is at the door. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, so right over here we are having a society, as you are able to see. This is the road of the society itself. Okay, this is the road of the society, as you are able to see. And on this particular road of the society, you are having different houses. Okay, you are having different houses right over here. Now, each of these houses have a name. Okay, each of these houses, let's say that this belongs to Mr. Ram Prasad Chaurasia. This belongs to Mr. Ben. This belongs to something, and so on and so forth. Each of these houses have an address. Each of these houses have a particular person that is living in them. But each of the houses have a number as well associated with it. Okay, so this is the house number. The house number is 1. The house number is 2. The house number is 3. House number is 4. House number is 5, and so on and so forth. You are able to identify each of these houses by either their owner's name, that okay, this house belongs to Mr. Sinha, or you are able to identify the houses by their number. Okay, that is, this house is the number 3. Okay, the same thing happens in arrays as well. In arrays, as you are able to see, you can have these addresses as well as indexes. Okay, you can have indexes as well. So as C++, Python, and other languages as well, these are zeroth indexed language. Okay, these are zeroth indexed language. Zeroth indexed language basically means that your indexing starts from 0. Your indexing starts from 0. So you are having 10. Okay, so the 10 is present at the zeroth index, then 15 is present at the first index, 30 is present at the second index, 100 is present at the third index, 250 is present at the fourth index right over here. Okay. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know. Okay. And you can utilize these indexes to access the elements as well. Okay. So if I'm writing something like ARR 0, that will give me the answer as 10. If I'm writing ARR 3, that will give me the answer as 100. Okay, this is called as random access, and each of these like lines of code will take up a constant time itself. I don't have to go through every single element one by one. I can utilize their indexes. I can utilize their indexes to get the values that are present at that particular location. I can get their indexes to get the values that are present at that particular location in constant time. No matter how big the array is, I will always get that in constant time itself. And hence this is called as random access. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know. So please try to remember the advantages of arrays. The first advantage of array is cache friendliness, and the second advantage of arrays is random access. These are the two things that you need to remember whenever you are starting off with learning about arrays. Okay, and it is very important for you guys to understand as well. I think so. After the next topic, like array types, there are two types of arrays that we'll be discussing about. Once that has been discussed, we'll be ending the class. From tomorrow onwards, we'll be starting with vectors in C++, and we'll also be starting out with coding in C++ as well. So both of them will be starting from tomorrow. From tomorrow onwards, the classes will be a very hands-on experience. So you'll be having a lot more practicals. Up till now, there was a lot of theory. But whatever theory that you have learned up till now, that is everything that you're going to utilize in the further classes. If you haven't learned or understood anything up till now, it will become impossible for you to understand the further classes, because then we are directly going into programming itself. Okay, it will become very difficult for you. Okay. Okay, so the next particular thing we are going to learn about is dynamic sized arrays, and the first particular type of arrays that we are having is okay, fixed size arrays and dynamic size arrays. These are the two things that we are going to learn right now. Ajit Kumar Mishra, you need to improve then your capacity. Okay, this is not something that can be tolerated. You need to improve your capacity, because there's a lot that we have to learn at any point of time, and we cannot wait for like that to happen. So every day you should be studying for at least 4 hours or 6 hours a day, at least, if you're aiming for a good company. And within that as well, 70% of the time you should be spending on data structures, algorithms, and computer programming, and 30% of the time you should be spending upon development. This is irrespective of whether you're going to college or not, whether you're having assignments or not, or exams or not. At least 4 to 6 hours every single day you should be spending on studies. 70% of the time on data structures, algorithms, and computer programming, and 30% of the time on your development related stuff. Okay, that's the minimum that you have to do. Okay, so arrays are of two types, fixed size arrays and dynamic size arrays. Okay, we are going to utilize dynamic size arrays moving further because, of course, like it's much more easier to understand and use, as well as a lot of different stuff. We will be understanding about that tomorrow because we'll be dealing with vectors tomorrow itself. It is a very important topic and a very easy one as well. Now, fixed size arrays, the main difference between both of them, as the name suggests, is that in fixed size arrays, the size of the array, that is the number of elements that an array can contain. Okay, that is called as the size of the array, whether it can contain 2 elements or 4 elements, that is fixed. Okay, if it is a fixed size array, that is already fixed, that okay, this array can contain only 100 elements. Okay, you have to declare it. Okay, this array can only contain 50 elements. Okay, nothing more. It cannot contain anything more than that. The thing with dynamic size arrays is you don't need to tell that how many elements that it can contain. It can contain 1, 2, 100,000, 20,000, 40,000, any number of elements it can contain easily. That is the main difference between fixed size arrays and dynamic size arrays. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please do let me know, guys. Okay. So from the practical perspective, we'll be looking at it tomorrow onwards. Okay, we'll be looking at some fixed size arrays code as well as some dynamic size arrays code. We will be learning about vectors in C++. Okay, so you don't have any kind of fixed size array in Python. Okay, you only have fixed size arrays in C++ and Java and all these type of languages. In Java, the dynamic size arrays that are there is called as array list. Okay, and list list, and then in Python it is called as just list. Okay, in Python you don't have fixed size arrays, you only have dynamic size arrays, that is called as list. We are going to utilize vectors from tomorrow. Also, we'll be looking at some examples of fixed size arrays so that you guys are able to understand it further on. I think so that should be more than sufficient for today. Let me show you guys the attendance for today as well. Up till that point of time, I will request you guys to like the video. Okay, if you guys were able to understand something today. Okay, the time that I'm creating the attendance link for today, guys, can we aim for 1,500 likes? Can we aim for that? Please do let me know. So what about notes? Kiran Dholi, you have to write it on your own. I'm not going to provide you with notes. So should I teach? Should I provide you with notes? Should I just come there and give your interviews as well? I will do that for you. Okay, write it on your own. That is when you will be able to like remember stuff. If I'm giving you the notes itself, how will you remember stuff? How will you write it down? That is the main point with that. Okay, so this is the C++ day 2 that I have to give you. Gaurav, Roop, they have still not seen your question itself. Just put the question once again on the live chat. Actually, I'm creating the attendance form, so I will not be able to look at it again. So please do put it up on the live chat at least 2-3 times so that I'm able to see it. Okay. Here, day 2, right here, Bootcamp 2, response open, send link, copy. Notes, you have to write it on your own. Of course, I'm not going to give you guys the notes itself. Okay, that is how you will be able to learn. Like, see, in data structures and algorithms, you have to write your own notes. I have written like I have 3 notebooks full of like I think so 500 pages. That is just full of data structure algorithms and notes. You have to write it on your own. Nobody is going to provide it with notes itself because that is a personal thing. That is for you to do, not for others. Okay. Okay, so I will download the attendance day 2. this is the QR code for today, guys. You can see it and you can scan it and you can just do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. Okay. So that will be fine, guys. We'll meet tomorrow once again and we'll continue it from right over there at 6 o'clock. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You won't be able to run the loop code because I haven't written the entire code itself. Okay, that is just a small structure of how a for loop looks like. I've not written the entire code, so it won't run. When we'll be starting to write our codes itself from tomorrow onwards, you will be able to use it easily. Okay, do not worry about it. We'll meet tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.